Today I'm going to show you guys my custom-made DIY ISO cab that I use for electric guitar that also has a motorized mic mover built inside.
True Sound Studios is in your ears.
Hey guys, what is up? I'm Weezna, and as always we are here at my studio, True Sound Studios, and today I get to show you guys the inside workings of my ISO cab. So I'm sure you guys know that when you record an electric guitar, so you're going to use an actual guitar head, an amp, and then you can use a cabinet. The more you can turn up the master volume, the more you're going to start saturating those tubes and get more of that just, I hate to say it, but just a better tone. Generally when you record at a quieter volume, that speaker cone is just not moving as much, and it just doesn't create that that wall of sound that I think so much of us are looking for. So because I don't have a huge live room, I also wanted a way that I could isolate that guitar if I wanted to track a full band. So an ISO cab just seemed like such a great idea. Not only is it going to just reduce the overall sheer amount of noise that, a guitar amp at that level is going to produce, but also it's a great way to just very simply isolate it from other instruments if you're tracking, a whole band. So the only thing I don't like about most of the ISO cabs is that, you put a microphone or two mics in there and you kind of position them where you think they would sound good, but then, you close it all up, and to go ahead and remove those mics around is kind of a pain because you got to keep, removing the lid, move the mics around, go try it, and it can really be kind of a longer task than it really needs to be. So I decided that I would build a mechanical device that would essentially be able to move the microphones right and left, and then ultimately changing the tone because I can move the microphones closer to the cone or closer to the edge of the speaker. And this way, I'm able to control it all out in the control room. The guitar player can sit right next to me. We can hear only the guitar sound that's coming out of the speakers that is running through this ISO cab. And you can go ahead and sit right here and just be able to move those microphones around and get, a whole bunch of different sounds very quickly. Okay, so enough talking. Let's take a look at this ISO cab. Okay guys, so here is inside of the isolation cabinet. So we got the cabinet on the bottom here. This is obviously a Marshall single 12. So this is a vintage 30, and I sealed it up. If you can see some of this white caulking here. Okay, so then we move up. This is our main, I guess you would call it the mic moving part. So first we got two microphones. This is a Sennheiser E609 mic. It's kind of like that flat-headed microphone. And then here we just have a standard Shure SM57 mic. And as you can see, these two different cables are the mic cables. So these are obviously permanently in here, all glued together so that nothing moves inside of this case, because I really don't want to, the whole point was to essentially just be able to move this back and forth and really never have to come in here and change anything. So then, like I said, both of the mounts for the mic clips for both of the mics are mounted on just a standard piece of wood. I believe these are 1/4-inch bolts that hold this all together with some European adapters. That's how you can convert the mic threading into something, that you can use, like just standard bolts and nuts and things like that. And then this plastic part is hollow and is mounted to this black bar that holds both the mics, and that's how it slides back and forth. And it slides on this stainless steel, this is a polished stainless steel rod, so that it just is real smooth going across here. And it is all belt driven. Actually, this is just a belt from a printer that had broken. So I know it's a little tough to see, but this is the servo that drives the whole thing. It is belt driven. There's a smaller belt at the very bottom of it, and there's some good gear reduction so that it moves fairly slowly. And then at either end of the steel rod are these micro switches. And this is so I know when I've gone too far to the edge, a light lights up on the controller and lets me know that I've gone too far and I need to go back the other direction. And then at the opposite end is once again another pulley belt. This one doesn't have any teeth on it because it doesn't need to. It's not gripping anything. And then once again, you got the little micro switch. So then if we zoom back out a little bit more, you can see back there, there's another mount. That one's obviously permanently mounted,
but there is another cable there. So if I wanted to run a third microphone, it depends. Every once in a while I put something different in there, but I never really seem to like it. I really kind of like the mics that are just really close to the speaker. And then finally up top, there's that video camera. And what that allows me to do is see essentially where the mics are inside of the cabinet so that I have some reference for, maybe a session that happens, on a different day, different band, so that maybe I could get similar settings again. But it's really just a reference point so that I have an idea where the mics are in front of the speaker. So then underneath the speaker cab, you can see all this insulation. Now this is R35 insulation that the whole cabinet is just sitting on. And that's just to try to stop the vibrations from this cabinet to resonate to the outside shell of the ISO cab so that we essentially minimize the amount of noise that's going to come out of this box and really make it an ISO cab. And then lined all throughout the entire ISO cab, including the door that is off currently, is R20 insulation. And this is really just to eat up any of the bad frequencies that are going to happen because, this is a speaker in a rectangular box. So it's not the most ideal situation in the world, but it really does sound great. In fact, I pretty much almost never pull out a standard cab and mic it up because this thing always sounds good and the clients are happy. And then at the very top of the cab is R45 insulation, I believe it is. So that is really thick. It's about 8 inches thick. And that's to eat up all the frequencies that bounce off the top of this ISO cab and stop it from coming back and being, essentially junk noise as part of our guitar sound. Okay, so now let me power this up and you guys will get to see how this thing moves. Now, the servo that does move, it is kind of loud, but it is never in use while I'm recording guitars. There's really no reason for it. So let me go ahead and move this thing around so you guys can see how this works. So the little bit of the construction of it, you can see there is 2 half-inch pieces of plywood sandwiched together. And then also to help out with the seal is this really soft, it's kind of like a foam rubber seal. And this is double sealed. There's a little air gap in between. And this just really helps when I put that door on there, just to really guarantee that the door is really sealed to the rest of the cabinet. So I know it's a little tough to see, but this is the door. As you can see, the wood there, we got the chipboard on both sides. On the very outside is the plywood, the chipboard's on the inside, and it is separated by green glue just to help with a little bit more isolation. And the reason for this gap here is that is the big gap in insulation right here. And then on the side here, these are where the mic cables run out of the side of the box. As you can see, they're silicone just to make sure that they are not leaking any additional sound. So the entire ISO cab sits on this 3/4 inch rubber. And what this rubber does is it offers a way to isolate the amount of vibrations when the cabinet sits on top of it so that it doesn't transfer to the floor as much. And here it is back in the storage room, all put together. The door is on there, obviously. And this is where it sits. So outside here in the control room, this is the controller. Now, this was made out of a old modem case, so I know it doesn't look amazing, but it's all about functionality, right? So this is for the ISO cab, just to move it left and right. You choose the direction, and then if you press the button in, it'll go ahead and move it, and then eventually the light will light up. See, right there, letting you know you got all the way to the end, and then vice versa if you want to go all the way to the left. There you go, and now that lit up, just letting me know I've gone too far and I need to go the opposite direction. So in another video, I'll show you guys what these other switches do, and these actually control a very similar device that moves the mics around, except this is really more for drums.
So just a couple other things about this ISO cab. We tried to weigh it and it was almost 80 pounds. There's just so much lumber holding it, supporting it together that, it's pretty heavy. It's actually heavier than I thought. And then dimension-wise, it is 2 feet wide by 2 feet deep, and then it's 4 feet high. So it's essentially a big rectangular box, but it's standing up the speakers at the bottom and it fires up. And I just did that to make it take up a little less space. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any further questions, please leave me a comment and I will definitely answer it. So if you guys want to stay up to date with True Sound Studios on a day-to-day basis, go ahead and follow us on our Instagram page. I post on Instagram every single day and I'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on, including behind the scenes stuff. You guys will get to see recording sessions here, even sometimes when I'm doing some other things like, mixing client stuff or mastering and really just what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. So thank you for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, click that like button and consider subscribing for more content. So not only do I make YouTube videos, but I also produce tracks and I can mix and master your music. So once again, thank you for watching this video. I'm Weezna and True Sound Studios is in your ears.